The second verse is Mark 8:18. And eyes have you and not see, and ears have you and not hear, neither remember you. King James says it, finishes it out, was you do not remember you. I'm pausing on that because I want you to think about what that's actually saying. You do not remember you. This goes back to Enana. But when we take a look at the word that is used as you, it's Antun. Antun. I'm going to write it on the board. I'm going to pull up. And I know for some of you, maybe Paul, if you don't have the letters themselves, this might be just listen to the frequency of my words and don't get caught up in the letter symbols themselves. Antun. Some of you guys have remembered me sharing with you that Antun is the royal we. How many of you guys remember that? The royal we. It's you, but it's the royal we. Aleph Nun Tav would be translated as thou. But when it moves into the Antun, we're moving into the collective. And why this is so fascinating for you guys to see this, and why the remembrance of you do not remember you. You don't remember. Because we went through the veil of forgetting, and our whole job here is to remember, to return back, to member ourselves. What are we membering ourselves back in? Remember the Aleph, the very beginning? It was blown apart. We had a Yod and a Yod. We had an upper one and a lower one, and we had the Vav. Our job is to go back and member ourselves. God's some assembly required. So this verse is letting us know that having the eyes to see and the ears to hear connected to this Vav, which I just shared with you, is about us remembering and putting ourselves back together, returning back to our original state of being. When we look at the letters on the board, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but if I can plant some seeds for future offerings, I want to start setting the seed early, which is funny that I say that, considering that the noon has to do with the seed. In the ancient form, it looked like this. You could either say that that's sperm, or you could say that's a sprout that is being germinated. Either way, works fine with me. But in the frequency that this noon is holding, when it's in its risen or its fallen form, the noon is a seed that has information that has been folded in upon itself. So just like a seed or a bean that's planted in the ground needing to sprout, please connect, those of you who have been listening to Ken's teachings. This is very much connected to everything that Ken has been sharing as of late about the seed and the germination. When we see it in this, what they call it, the fallen state, doesn't mean that it's fallen, it just means it's the end of the word. It falls below the line. It's a sophit, and it just literally means in the end, they will have the power of the covenant. In the end, they will have done their work to complete their journey. This noon, when it is at the end of the word, when it's been added, means this seed here has completely unfolded itself and has gone to the fullest extent of all of that folded information that was held within it. It has reached its fullest extent of the coding that was found within that seed. This should get you really excited, because when I see that, and I see it as the making of the royal we, this means that there's a promise given, a seed that has been planted where? Here's our Aleph Tav. There's a seed that has been planted within the sacred languages, the Aleph through the Tav, that is waiting for us to connect to in order for us to completely unfold and become the fullest expression of that which we were meant to, because it's already been coded. Going back to the original reason why I started to study the languages, when I found out when Greg Braden did his study and he found that the sacred languages were literally within our DNA, and it spelled out a phrase, God eternal within the body. I was like, game on, man, I'm studying this, because if there's something about that statement, by him doing the following the directions found in the Sefer Yetzirah, the book of creation, he followed the instructions on it, Because now we've moved into the place where we can look into DNA, found the code right within our DNA, makes me think that is something that I really wanted to study. Hence the unfolding of the Mashika de Gadola, the Mashika Magdalene, the Christed Magdalene, which literally just means the great anointing. So the Antun connected into that verse, again, all connected to the Vav, right? Antun has the Sharuk in it. So what is this dealing with? The ears that hear, having to do with wind, having to do with sound, which means having to do with frequency. Why is this important, Carrie? Because every single word that I bring to you every week, if I'm sharing this word with you on tune this week, I'm hoping that your ears are hearing the frequency of it so that throughout this next week, maybe you can begin toning this. When you know the letters and what those words are saying and you begin toning them, you then begin to hear it. And when you begin to hear it, it is a way of conveying light information through sound, which will then help change the frequency and resonance within the body until it begins to vibrate at the same frequency. Every word is like a tuning fork. And what we are wanting to do is we're wanting to match the frequency so that when we hear the word Antun, it's like it's a tuning fork that got struck and it's waiting for us to vibrate at the same frequency so that change has occurred and we've become it. That's why Ken has said for many times, look as it, not at it. And what Vav is that? The one with the kol ha-meli, the dot on top. Look, see, and then hear. Because the looking and the seeing and the hearing is then going to lead us in the doing. And that connects us right back to the hey, to the letter hey that we just came from. Because it's all contiguous, it's all moving us in a direction which is bringing us up, making Aliyah up, where we ascend through the power of the sacred feminine that's within us, that is our emotional unseen state, that is driving our movement going upward. And then going from a couple weeks ago, talking about emotional intelligence. You see how I've been trying to build all of these teachings, laying foundational pieces for us to understand when we see the Mashika de Gadola, when we see the great anointing, what it's really talking about. And the Vav plays a huge part of it, of those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. Because that sound and that wind is breath, it's ruach, it's the spirit that is within us, that is leading us, that is guiding us.